right, it's Monday, and you know what that means. It's time for your roundup of some of the great things that happened last week, starting with California fast food workers winning a $20 an hour minimum wage, but there's so much more. Let's check it out. He just had the biggest month in antitrust in 50 years. Biden-Harris administration is doling out $1.4 billion to finance rail projects across the country. Congressman Andy Kim has launched a Senate run against indicted New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez. International Energy Agency found that limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius is still within reach, provided that we continue aggressively pursuing climate action. Massachusetts has become the first state to ban all state agencies from the purchase of single-use plastic bottles. The United Farm Workers endorsed Joe Biden. The U.S. Supreme Court blocked Alabama Republicans' second attempt to be voter-suppressing racists. Gavin Newsom signed a California bill blocking school book bans. Biden and Harris administration took its first steps towards removing medical debt from people's credit scores. Hunter Biden is suing Rudy Giuliani. A judge ruled that Donald Trump was a giant fraud and stripped him of many of his key properties. President Biden became the first sitting president to walk a picket line. A federal judge in Texas struck down the state's anti-drag law and permanently blocked its enforcement. In Florida, churches and other civic groups are stepping up to teach Black history and banned books. Gavin Newsom signed a whole bunch of amazing gun bills into law. New Balance announced that they will phase out using kangaroo skins in their footwear. Biden administration launched a national climate resilience framework. The Justice Department has filed a civil complaint against eBay. They accuse it of unlawfully selling hundreds of thousands of products that violate environmental laws. The Bureau of Land Management announced a long overdue plan to protect Labyrinth Canyon in Utah. Omar Navarro, a favorite of Donald Trump, was indicted this week on 43 counts of misusing campaign funds. Abortion rights groups in Colorado are filing for a 2024 ballot measure to protect abortion access. The Federal Aviation Administration announced $300 million in funding for projects to reduce emissions from aviation. President Biden vetoed two Republican-pushed resolutions that would have stripped protections from endangered birds like this one. Scott Hall became the first co-defendant in the Georgia election interference case who took a plea deal and said he will testify against others. The Republicans' first impeachment hearing was a fiasco. A federal court found that Starbucks had illegally punished its workers for unionizing and told them they must pay back pay. The writer's strike is over, and writers got almost everything they wanted. And one day after the FCC got their final board member confirmed, the chair of the board announced that they would be reinstating Obama-era net neutrality rules. There's a ton more good news in the newsletter. Please make sure to check it out and share it, because why work for all these wins if we don't celebrate them when they happen?